I want to talk about this weird kind of feeling that I'm sitting right now. It's really hard to explain, so bear with me while I try to find the shape of it. I used to watch shows, series, animes, the kind with like a real storyline. They kind you get attached to very easily as a viewer. And what I loved wasn't just the characters or the plot twists, kind of like the storyline. Of course, I did, but it was the feeling of knowing that somewhere someone had already written the whole thing. Like every episode was building towards something. Nothing was random. Even the slow parts had a reason to exist because the writer knew where it was all coming and then going. Obviously, it's limited to the shows that are really good, like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 shows, like Breaking Bad and Attack on Titan, I'd say my two favorite shows ever. And like a few days ago, I caught myself having like the exact feeling about my own life. Not about a show, about the actual thing I'm living. Because when you're driven, when you actually care about where you are headed, where you're going to, let's say what you're pursuing and all the things, you end up with all these threats hanging in the future. So a relationship you want to see grow into something a lot deeper, like a goal you're circling but you haven't hit it yet, and like a version of yourself you're trying to become, like one decision at a time. And when I looked at all of that at once, it felt like, oh, like there's a story here, like there's an arc, like something is building in my life and I can feel it actually. But then I hit the part where the feeling gets really complicated because like a show has a writer. My life doesn't. Like nobody has already decided how this goes. I have not a single idea what's coming. And if I'm honest with myself, my life has never once, I'm sorry, given me a clear preview of its own plot. I'm sure like it's for literally every single one of you who's listening to this. It never really turns out the way I predict. Uh, Not even close. Like any stretch of imagination, I couldn't even. I just couldn't see it from coming, even like few seconds before. So like, and like so this feeling, like this sense of something is building, comes paired with something closer to fear. Like it's literally fear, like scary, like not a bad kind of fear, but just a fear of not knowing what's to come. Like you just cannot expect what's ahead of you. The fear of standing at the edge of a story uh, with literally no author, no storyline. You just have to headbutt it. You just have to go for it. And I think that's actually the whole thing. Like that's the entire difference between watching a story or reading a story, whatever, and leaving one. When you watch, you or read, you get the pleasure of the arc without really like involving any of the risk because someone already resolved the arc, the story, and the hard parts before you pressed play or you flip the next page. When you leave it, you get the same pull, the same sense that things are heading somewhere, but like none of that guarantees. You just can't see. You're not read. How do I say? You're not reading ahead. You're writing it by living it, once unscripted day at a time. So if you ask me like the if is the fear a problem? Because I don't think so. I used to think I used to think that like it could be in your way, but I think it's like the fear is just proof that I have something at stake. If I genuinely didn't care how any of this turned out, like there'd be nothing to be afraid of. And also, I always use this sentence. I feel like in like 1 out of 10 videos in my YouTube channel, like grieve. I mean, yeah, grieve is sadness, whatever. Like grieve is the price that we pay for our love. I think it was Jimmy Carr who said it. My favorite comedian. Like I adore that sentence, that code, that line so much. You have to risk it. Like there's just no way to feel something, like to even feel something, let alone winning. In order to feel something, you have to risk it. You have to put something at stake. I'll cut this part of me and put it over here. Like I don't care. I will care. Obviously, I'm not gonna pretend like it's not gonna hurt if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to go. But it's like the whole thing. Like that's the point. Like you have to risk it. You like the fear and the excitement on two separate feelings, sitting next to each other. Like they are the same feeling, looked at from two different angles. So anticipation, anxiety are running on the same wiring, the same dimension. Like what changes is just which story I decide to tell myself about it in the moment. There's a risk here too, though, and I want to be honest about it because, like, instead of just romanticizing the feeling, it's easy to enjoy the sensation of anything could happen and mistake that sensation for actually doing something, like sitting uh the pleasant vertigo of an open future feels good, like it feels like progress, but it really isn't. Like the feeling of a story unfolding is not the same as the work of um shaping one. So like how do I say it? Like nobody's arc resolves itself just because it felt cinematic to think about it. uh so I'm trying to hold both things at once, letting myself actually feel the size of what's ahead without really letting the feeling replace this boring specific work of deciding what happens next. Because that boring, seemingly insignificant works are literally what determines where you will be the next day, which is exactly the only thing that you should be caring about right now. Which brings me to the second thing I've been thinking about, because I think it's actually connected. I had this one conversation recently, like real one, a deep one, and something that had been living in my head for a very long time. Like I just disappeared. Weekend, uh, weeks of weeks amount of overthinking, just completely gone. Basically, in the space of just one honest exchange. I don't even know how we ended up talking about that. And that's also another reason why I believe in proximity. Like proximity is power. You just have to be close with a person, like physically. Um, so like basically in the space, like how do I say, like in first, that felt almost unfair. Like how does that much internal noise just get resolved that fast? But I think I understand it now. Overthinking really isn't usually the actual problem. It's just a like a stand in for a conversation you haven't had it yet. When you don't say the things to the person, it's about like your mind doesn't just let it go. Like it just starts simulating. Like it runs drafts. It imagines. Wait, right? Yeah, imagines how they would react, like what they say back, how it could land, like over and over, like testing every version in private, because you want to feel like you're in control of something that you're completely not in. You just have to let it go and with the flow and see how it's gonna work. Like literally, time is the only solution there, and the whole time, like it's working with guesses as well. Like it has no real data. It's writing fiction and treating it like a research. like then you actually have the conversation, and suddenly the guessing stops, like because you're not simulating anymore. You're just, how do I say, like you're just finding it out by yourself, by having like a real conversation. Real information is just more reservable than imagined information, no matter how much time you spend imagining it. 20 real minutes can undo weeks of rehearsal, because rehearsal was never going to how do I say, like reach an answer. Like only the actual conversation could do that. And what connects back to the first thing, I think, in a way, I didn't expect until I started talking this through. For both of these are about the same gap, like the gap between the version of something I build my head and the version that actually happens when I let it play out. Like the story I imagine for my life is never the kind of story I end up living. The conversation I rehearse in my head is never the conversations that actually happens in real life. In both cases, the real version is a lot stranger, faster, immediate, and more resolvable than the one I was drafting alone. So maybe that's the thing I actually want to leave this on. Whatever it is, a relationship, a goal, a hard conversation you've been avoiding, like the version of it in your head, yeah, in your head is not information. It's just anticipation, uh, dressed up as information. The only way to actually find out how something would pan out, like goes to let it go. How do I say, like goes to, is to let it go the way it's actually going to go. Like instead of pre-living it in your head like 100 times. So I don't know how my life turns out. I've basically given up trying to guess, because I've never once guessed right. But I think I'm starting to be okay with that, in a sense, like not because not knowing feels comfortable. Obviously, it is like it's uncomfortable, and that's the point. It's genuinely a little scary, but because the not knowing is the same thing as being alive inside something that actually matters to me. A story you already know the ending to isn't really happening to you. It's just being replayed over and over again. Mine hasn't been written yet. So is yours. So is anyone's. And I think that's the part that's supposed to feel enjoyable, even when it's uncomfortable. So that's about it in this video. Thank you for watching.